Hello, one and all. How are you on this great and beautiful Tuesday afternoon? I hope you're doing quite excellent. Uh, it's looking outside, at least here in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. So, um, I guess it's on with the show. We got a couple people viewing. Probably my three. Cool. So, the noon hour show. High noon, as I might be calling it soon. We're starting off with reading a bit of a book, Who Needs a Superhero? It ties comics and God together, if you will. We're in chapter three. I usually take a week to go, try and take about a week to go over a title. About a day behind because I was not feeling well one day last week. But, anyways, we're in chapter three, Batman, Guilt, and Grace in Gotham City. The well dressed couple and their son emerge from the movie theater and amble into the autumn evening. They stroll away from the macrae of lights, trending on their own elongated shadows. The crowd thins and the streets darken as the Wayne family chats uh, about the movie they have just seen. The Mark of Zorro. Young Bruce is particularly impressed by the adventures of the masked Avenger. The boy strikes a heroic pose with an imaginary sword and chatters on about the swashbuckling crusader, unaware that his own belief in justice is about to be tested. In the crucible of suffering, a hollow-eyed figure lunges from an unlit alley. The thug brandishes a gun and demands money. The moments that follow sear Bruce's memory forever. Snapshots in a family album of horror. The flash from the gun barrel. His father toppling to the dirty pavement. A second muzzle flare. His mother collapsed. The mugger fleeing, a broken necklace scattering pearls into the gutter. Bruce is the only survivor of the assault. Physically, the boy is unharmed, but all sense of order and reason bleeds from Bruce's life as he kneels beside his slain parents. At that moment, Bruce makes a decision that will shape his future. He refuses to accept this violation. He will never allow this loss to heal. He will spend his life avenging this brutal atrocity. And so, Batman was born. 18 years passed. 18 years passed before Bruce Wayne donned the grim cowl and cape of Gotham City's protector. Nevertheless, this his destiny was chiseled in granite the night Thomas and Martha Wayne died. In the ensuing 18 years, Bruce organized the extensive family business to operate without his direct involvement. He honed his body weight training Olympic level. Uh, he honed his body with weight training, Olympic level gymnastics, martial arts. He mastered criminology, forensics, chemistry, engineering, computer science, and a dozen more fields. Drawing on the family fortune, Bruce Wayne built an arsenal of high tech weapons and equipped his hidden headquarters in the huge cavern beneath Wayne Manor. When Bruce deemed himself ready to undertake his mission, he donned a bizarre costume designing to terrify criminals, inspired partially by his childhood hero, Zorro, but also by the fluttering bats in the cave beneath his estate. Bruce Wayne draped himself in a long cape and cowl with bat ears. The uniform is black and gray, camouflage for a for a hunter of the night. It is merely coincidental that black is also the hue of despair, the color of mourning. Most superheroes put on a mask to hide their real identity. Not so with this caped vigilante. Bruce Wayne is the mask. Batman is the true identity. To devote himself wholly to fighting crime, Bruce Wayne forsook childhood, adolescence, romance, and normal human desires. The millionaire maintains just enough social life to divert suspicion from his nighttime crusade. As a result, Bruce Wayne is a two-dimensional prop, merely a facade behind which lurks the true person, the grim, the driven, relentless Batman. Okay, so that's where we are going to today. So we will start this off tomorrow with the human potential beyond belief. Well, so now we will switch over to our drawing, the remastering. Of some cross comic stuff. Okay, let's see. So we want that up, and then we want that. Okay, so this is my character, Black Tiger. She is a hero. I don't know anything about her. She was probably created by my character, Professor Evolution, for whatever means. Reason? Let's see. Okay, we need that brush a little thinner. Hey, Chad, how are you? Yeah, what happened to make it a bad morning? if you want to share, that is. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, and you've got a little bit of time left still to end up being a good morning too. So it's only just after 9 for you. Oh no, sorry, 10. You're only 2 hours behind now. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't call it a furry, but this is my one of my heroes. I'm not sure whether she's going to be A-list. Probably not one of my A-listers, but her name is Black Tiger. Obviously, she has feline abilities. Although, yeah, you're right. I can see furries liking this character. That's what I should be doing too, making her a little bit more furry. No hentai for Bob. He's got the next contest. There's always more contests coming up in this community. You know, there is John's 250. There's going to be my 250. There's Manny's 100. Hey, Tank. How are you? Good morning. What are you up to, Tank? Any time to spare, Tank, besides just coming in for a couple minutes? I guess what I'm asking is, you want a link? Oh, not good for when you're moving. All right, give me a sec. Gotta do a couple things. Gotta get my headphones in. That way there's no feedback. Okay. Oh, we also need something else. Sent, as you can see. Okay, where did I go? Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good. Well, actually, it's good afternoon for me.
Ah, yes, it is good afternoon for you. It's good morning for me. Yeah, I've been up most of the night. I haven't got no
Oh,
sleep.
so,
Well,
purposely or just a little insomnia?
no, it's my back injury from Iraq. It's I have I have discs that just like to slip out of place every once in a while.
Ooh, ouch.
Yeah,
I knew somebody, well, it wasn't an injury from war or whatever duty, but
yep,
I know somebody who had a back injury like that. Discs would slip out of place.
yeah. I'll live though. It's a little reminder that I'm alive.
So I won one of the second prize for Zach's contest.
Oh,
Not
woohoo!
Zach, I mean John's contest.
Okay, groovy. Yeah, I missed that this morning. I was like, oh man, I'm actually up.
Yeah, well, he didn't do it till like 11 well, 11 my time, so like about 8 your time. I think you're in the
Yeah.
same time zone as him.
Yep.
So,
I am in beautiful Astoria, Oregon, home of the Goonies, also a place where they filmed the majority of the X-Files and Kindergarten
cool.
Cop.
Probably the best one of all those is Kindergarten Cop, in my opinion.
I love the Goonies. I absolutely love that movie.
How to contact John without Twitter. John is also on Facebook as John Dillard GTS. Chad.
So, what are you up to this morning?
I just did read a little excerpt from the book I'm slowly going through on here called "Who Needs a Well, you can't see it. Who Needs a Superhero" by H. Michael Brewer. It's talking about doing superheroes and Christianity together.
Oh,
Drawing
all
some
right.
parallels.
It's a real
So
shame that our superheroes are losing, whereas they're involved in all this identity politics, they're losing their religious identity. Like
yeah,
Captain America, for the longest term, was Christian, openly,
yeah,
churchgoer, and then they did that whole retcon of, oh, he's been a Hydra agent the whole time, and it's like, dude, vilify the heroes. It's like, no, no, we have plenty of villains.
did they end that with him coming back to not being an agent?
I tuned it out. It was such bad writing. I tuned it out. I'll be honest. I did not pay
Okay.
attention.
I'd like to find out where that story arc went, whether they ended it, whether it's still legit or not. Anybody else in the chat know?
Oh, I think Chad went to go contact John. I think it's just us.
Yeah.
Great. I've driven away your audience. So sorry.
I drove him away. I gave him the information. Chad will be back. Bob will be in soon. Surprised Bob's not in yet. But I figured, wait, seeing you there. Well, obviously, seeing you there. Hopefully, you being here will drive up the audience.
Well, I hope so. I do like to add wherever I go, bring a little something to the
Yeah.
table. Oh, I'm getting ready to launch my Indiegogo, man.
What's
The
yours
new
going to be about again? Oh,
my
the
Go ahead.
yours is a post-apocalyptic future one with the robots. Whatever.
It's cyberpunk. Cyberpunk.
Okay.
Kind of a future noir, a little bit of a combination of a spy flick. It's quite an adventure. Quite an adventure. I'll be doing the Indiegogo will be uh, for collector's items, so that I can get the funds to finish the book.
Yeah.
So it'll be.
Have you done an Indiegogo before yet, or
Um,
Kickstarter?
I have not, and so the cool thing about this one is it'll be a $0 zero amount needed to fully fund the project. Basically, as people contribute, their their reward is basically covered. So I don't need any money to give people their goodies. It's just more or less to raise money so I can get the art supplies needed to finish the book. So by the time the Indiegogo goes live, I will have um, the
Yeah, but
collector's edge game will be finished.
won't you need money for like printing and all that and shipping?
Oh, that now it's fine. Yeah, it's that's like I said, that's what the Indiegogo is for.
Yeah.
is that any amount is covered. Like it's a fundraiser, right, essentially, but not using GoFundMe because GoFundMe is kind of like give me money. Indiegogo is invest in me and I'll give you something cool. And that's what I'm gonna do. I got a T-shirt guy lined up, ready to knock out some cool T-shirts. Um, there'll be a poster, a full color poster, reward level, um, as a stretch goal because I have to pay the colorist. So when I
Yeah.
hit a
Well,
certain
see,
stretch
that's the
goal,
stuff. That stuff. The Indiegogo should be funding, if you will.
yeah, it'll just be real.
Raising the money to pay the colorist and all that.
That'll be a stretch goal for a poster. So, hey, if people are interested in the ash can enough and it generates enough buzz,
Yeah.
then we'll unlock a full color poster tier. Um, but we will have ash cans and T-shirts to start off with.
So, do you got any stuff already, or
It's currently in pencil, so it will be
okay?
by the time I launch the Indiegogo on November 15th. The ash can will be done and for the most part displayed. Um,
Uh-huh.
there will be a couple of pages of the ash can artwork. There'll be a picture of the pinup that's going to be in the ash can, and it'll
Yeah.
basically have the same information that the ash can has.
Yeah, we were
And if it
talking
rates,
a little bit about that stuff last night. You were here for that, weren't you?
yeah. And honestly, if it raises, like honestly, if I only sell like a handful of ash cans and I pull in $50, then that's actually enough money for me to get the art supply. That's how poor I am. Is that it's like, oh man, I don't even have the supplies to finish my book yet. Well, I want the book to be done, or at
What?
least
What do
mostly
you
done
What do
by
you
the
need for
time.
pencils?
I need to get more paper. Paper's expensive.
Oh,
I need to
you
get more paper, more ink,
okay?
and another thing of pencil lead should do me fine, and another eraser. But I want to give. I don't like one way. It's so funny. I love giving to charity, but I despise being the recipient of it.
Adrian was on this stream last night. Thing. Chad for a bit. Or do you mean
Uh-oh.
John? Yeah, I've got like a drawer full of HB pencils or HB2, a whole different style. So if you needed pencils, I was gonna say I can send you a bunch.
Oh yeah, no, I just need to get some more lead for my point zero or my 0.3 millimeter pencil. Um, and then I'm gonna have. I think I have enough nibs. I might have enough ink. Um, well, I definitely have enough to do the ash can, but I want to go. Hey, here's an ash can. Um, it'll have pre-order information in it, so that way, if people want to contribute and just order a copy, um, like the actual, not the
So
Kickstarter copy.
your Indiegogo is to make the ash
Yes,
can for the actual book.
yes, to make an ash can. Yes, it's to sell ash cans and raise funding so that I can get the art supplies to finish the book.
Yeah. So it won't be for the actual book itself at this point.
No, not yet. I don't want to launch the Indiegogo until the book is at least the pencil and inks are finished
Yeah.
because I can letter it myself, but I'm gonna have a stretch goal to letter it um, by someone else who's awesome, so to raise the product quality.
Uh, Chad just put your link to your channel in the
Oh,
chat.
why, thank you, Chad. I do appreciate that. You're awesome.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Normal at night I put everybody's in, but since morning here I don't usually do much. Well, nobody's usually on. I don't end up putting that stuff in advance.
Right? We all know that creators are half vampire. They mostly are up at night. Mostly. They mostly come out at night. Mostly.
Uh, I'm hoping I get once Bob gets his piece of art that I will get him on to show that he's got it and all that. Sort of promote myself for commissions.
Well, heck yeah.
See, the first person to get a commission from me actually has got it. I
See, that's awesome.
haven't talked with Bob about the idea yet, but
That's really good. Yeah, I got to get this commission out. I almost forgot that I had to draw 3 cowbells and hide them in the picture
uh,
because the guy who commissioned me for it, I showed him the picture and he says it needs more cowbell, and I said just for that I'm hiding 3 of them in there. And he approved. So I'm like, all right, this is happening. I'm gonna hide 3 cowbells in this samurai battle scene, which that's funny.
yes. Wonder if you could hide the word moo in there.
Oh yeah, I could definitely hide all sorts of fun stuff in there.
I gotta have more cowbell, says Chad.
See, Chad's in the same mentality of my client. He needed more cowbell.
You just want to moo that product.
Ha ha!
I've said it once, I'll say it again. More than once, actually. If there's a pun, I'll find it.
I have a particular set of skills. I have spent many years learning bad jokes. If there's a pun, I'll tell it.
I'll find it and I'll tell
I'll
it.
find it and I'll tell it. I think that the whole Liam Neeson thing from Taken is just an opportunity for comedy.
Yeah, for sure. Sure for. Not a lot of color in this one.
Have you seen the movie A Million Ways to Die in the West?
No, I haven't, but I have heard of it. I've wanted to see it.
It's a raunchy, brutal comedy, but it does have Liam Neeson as a cowboy using not a Western accent, but Liam Neeson's natural voice, uh, which is hilarious and, dare I might add, historically accurate.
Okay.
Oh, because there were tons of Irish settlers, and they still had their Irish accents. Not all of them, but a few that recent immigrants.
Yeah.
You get Irish settlers like my family who had lost their Irish accents long ago because they moved to the States in the 1700s, early 1700s.
Chad says Rick hasn't seen the Saturday Night Live skit. No, I haven't.
Oh, dude, you can find that. SNL has that on their channel, so you can find it. Yeah,
Okay, and I
it's
get
It's
I guess
hilarious.
that's the thing of I've developed the skills,
No,
thing that
it's
you
a
do.
no, it's the cowbell skit.
Oh, okay.
Now the skills is that's from the movie Taken. It's the best part of the movie. I really the movie was okay for an action adventure. It was good, but honestly, the best part of the movie was Liam Neeson trash talking the kidnappers in the beginning. It was pretty hardcore.
Can
Yes,
believe
Fear
it.
the Reaper, Blue Oyster Cult. And that's the song that they're performing in the Saturday Night Live skit. And it features Will Ferrell, who's wearing 70s attire that is like 3 sizes too small, just wailing away on a cowbell, and hardly anybody can keep a straight face. Not just Jimmy Fallon.
Sounds interesting.
Oh, I think the skits where everybody like loses it are some of the best. Um,
Oh
because
yeah, because if
they've
you
been
can't,
rehearsing this. Sorry.
I was just gonna say yeah, because if you can't, they've probably been like you said, do rehearsing it, and if they can't keep a straight face,
Yeah, Chad Middleton's right. Yeah, it's got Christopher Walken. He's like, you know, I've got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell.
so almost done here. Obviously, take the old
Hold on
one
one
out.
second. I've got somebody at my front door.
Yeah, no problem. Options. No, delete. Do-do-do-do-do. Okay, so let's see. Control A and wait. Okay, so we are almost done here. So we need to do something there about that. Not a lot of people in the chat this morning. Or this afternoon, depending on where you are.
Hey, I'm back, man.
Cool.
What a day.
Ah. Control. And
So when you're estimated time moving on?
I love. I haven't heard of the movie. I think I've heard of the art artist actor. What's that movie about, Chad?
Alrighty. I was the landlord's groundskeeper.
Ah,
Yeah, because we're moving. The guy's early. We're kind of using the yard as a staging area for moving.
yeah, makes
So,
sense.
because we got a big family. I'm not helping any Irish stereotypes in that regard.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with big families.
No, no, there's not. I love my kids. I have a full Brady bunch.
Yeah, I I'd like to have a big family myself. Whenever I get
Uh,
movie, it's not a movie; it's a parody skit
yeah.
of a TV show. I think you meant not a TV show. Okay.
Oh, oh yeah. James Lipton inside the actor studio. I don't quite remember that skit, but I do remember it being funny.
So there is Black Tiger. I know
Ooh,
nothing. I know nothing about her. Just a character I created, and
that's cool. I like that.
the one thing I might know is she might have been sort of created by my character Professor Evolution,
Ooh.
who's a villain.
I see he is one of the members of the Church of Meat.
Who?
Oh, that's my nickname for psychiatry. Not
Oh,
psychology, but psychiatry is that
yeah.
it is the Church of Meat because in their very textbooks they say, and I quote, the very idea that man has a soul is laughable.
Ah,
Yeah, no, it's a pseudoscience that's anti-religious. I don't like them. Don't like them at all. This snake oil salesman, and they claim to be doctors, but they never cured a thing ever. No one's been cured.
I can believe that.
I mean,
Uh,
dude, we have cured people of AIDS. And in over 200 years, psychiatry has cured not a single person. So I would say it's junk science.
Yeah.
But
Chad Middleton says, "You sure that's not skunk dog?" A little big for skunk dog. On with my next one for the day. This is the original look of my character called Demon Blaster.
I like that. You got some good geometry going on that one.
Yeah. I might bring it back somehow, the look, but for a different character or whatever. I
Okay.
I totally revamped the character's look. Like here, let's see, I should be able to get it easy enough. I have a couple alternate versions of them. Oh, where's my PNGs?
Well, that's good. That's that's developing. That's good.
Although this is probably not the best look for showing them, but when it comes up here.
I mean, to say that 2065 Retribution has gone through 1,000 edits is actually a gross underestimation. I mean, I've been working on the story since 2003.
Ah, there's what the character looks like now. Or basically, his knees are bent a bit. So.
Okay. I'm just waiting for it to come up in the chat. Oh, that's way cool.
And he's like a 10 or 12-foot robot controlled by virtual reality.
Okay.
I go ahead.
I always like that concept.
Yeah, I thought it was a good concept. In fact, let's see. And traces to go. Open with photos. I got to go over this eventually. I should have saved the Demon Blaster. There's his console.
Okay. I like it.
The VR thing that preliminary sketch, anyways.
No, it's good. I see you got it like the gyroscopic setup there.
Yeah, because he can fly, so he's got to be able to go any whatever direction.
Oh yeah, yeah. Having real inner ear relevance to the thing you're controlling could, like, I don't know, in RPG game terms, that's worth bonuses. you
Yeah.
know.
And then he's
It's,
obviously got monitors there that he can see stuff too. I'm not sure what's going to be on them. I'll make that up eventually. And that character actually appears in the third issue of my Insecto series.
okay.
Yeah, I've went through a couple different ideas for how he was going to operate. I have
Mm-hmm.
thought about a midget being in the big robot, operating it from inside, but I'm thinking the guy who operates it is gonna be have lost his legs or something like that,
Right.
handicapped in some way. So it's also and he's some sort of professor, genius, whatever, to create the robot. He'd have to be right.
Right.
So I think I got his bio written down. I should have. He's first year and a half character, so.
Cool.
But that's what I was originally going for first. Then I'm like, okay. And then eventually I'm going to have. Oh, I can't take that one. Then I've got an alternate universe that I'm going to show in like my fifth or sixth year. I think fifth
Okay.
year. And there's going to be an alternate version in that reality of what the robot looks like. And I'll bring that up.
Groovy.
Right there. There. Can you see that yet? Or
I had my mic muted. Yeah, dude, I like that. He's got a classic. He's got a classic feel to him. I like that classic robot feel, like Giant Robo, Manganzer Z,
yeah,
1950s, 1960s sci-fi robot.
yeah. And one of his main weapons, obviously, he's got strength, but one of the main things for him is sound.
Okay.
He's got for the good or the main version. Okay. I just gotta get everything there. Chad says, "Mr. Roboto looks cool." Yeah, like I said, I've had years of development. I realize what usually works and what doesn't work.
Well, it's a game of trial and error, you know.
Yeah. Let's see.
After I worked in L.A., you know, um, you learn real quick how much work goes into a quality production,
Oh yeah,
and I think that the professional comic book industry has lost sight of how an industry actually works. It's a place to go hang out and abuse intellectual properties, um, in my opinion.
yeah. Well, they don't realize some of them don't care about money. So, as I think Ethan and so many others have said in Comicsgate, I
Yeah,
mean,
and
yeah,
I can almost guarantee that most of these people have been given most of the stuff in their life, that they haven't had to work really hard and earn stuff. And um that's it, you don't appreciate it as much when you're given it as opposed to having to earn it.
true, very true.
And if you don't have a strong moral compass when you're given something, there's a chance that one might completely disregard the importance of it. Uh, Evidence. Look at Marvel Comics.
Yeah,
We've got a bunch of children, oh, sorry, adults acting like children, um, acting like juniors in high school at best.
yeah. True word, says Chad Middleton Tank.
If you go over to Mindy Wheeler's channel
Yeah,
after this video, she's got a wonderful video where she addresses the Comicsgate side of things with trolls and toxic online um, attitudes, and how to create and foster a friendlier, more productive Comicsgate environment.
yeah. You gotta subscribe to her channel. I'm not subscribed as of yet. I don't think.
Absolutely, she's got some good content there. She has a very level head on her shoulders, like a surprising level of sanity from a human being. We're not exactly renowned for being sane.
True. We just think we are.
Well, the scary thing is the more sane you think that you are, the chances are the more wrong you are as well.
Yeah, I know I'm
It is
crazy and I love it.
it's the truly insane people that think that, you know, all joking aside, they think that they're not insane, that nothing is wrong with them mentally. And it's like, dude, you're human. You're flawed.
Yep.
You were created flawed. you exist flawed. And it's interesting, is that ability to mess it all up is one of the greatest things that we have.
Yep.
It's actually
There's a,
what makes, and according to Christian dogma, it's what makes us better than the angels, who are, and if we were to look at it from the study of, like, say, mythology, look at angels, they're demigods. They're powerful. These in angels in other cultures, in other religions, would have previously been identified as lesser gods, but
yeah.
we are better than them. Let's not let that go to our heads. But
Well, actually, we've been made. Well, we were. I'm not sure. I've heard somebody talk on this. Somebody said we were probably created just less than the angels, or maybe I'm not sure how, but through Christ's sacrifice, we've been put higher than them.
yes, and honestly, New Testament, best retcon in history. Um, it changes a bunch of fire and brimstone into a bunch of peace and love. It's a
Yeah,
bunch of errata.
yeah. But if you
Um,
actually look in the Old Testament, God, there is a lot of love from God. He's wiped
oh yeah,
the cultures that He wipes out are, they're abusing kids, sacrificing them,
oh
nobody
yeah.
wants to pay attention to that.
Well, it's hardest to confront the negative aspect of something that you're a part of. And
Yeah,
if when people actually, I have a buddy of mine he's a historian. One of his specialties is Christian history and also Bible studies. And he and I were having a discussion a while back wherein he addressed the New Testament as in terms of looking at it as an errata, as a changing of the rules or changing of the scripture. And he goes, yeah, this part from Leviticus, nope. He goes, rewritten right here, shows me in the New Testament. This part of the Old Testament, rewritten right here in the New Testament. These are the new rules. Those are old rules. These are new rules. Get with the latest version. And I'm like, well, that's an interesting way to put it.
yeah.
It's
Actually, for the
it's
most part,
analysis.
well, except for some of the dietary laws and stuff like that, and the punishment for doing various things.
Yeah, death is not punishment for minor transgressions anymore.
Yeah, it's more and that's because it's all been paid for. All that stuff
Yep.
was there because it wasn't paid for yet, for lack of a better way of saying it.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's it's uh it's been that debt has been paid.
Yeah. Then it's just for people to accept that it's been paid.
Right?
Also, it's just for some people to realize that there was a debt that needed to be paid.
Well,
Because you can't accept the paid debt if you don't realize that there was a debt needed to be paid.
yeah, no, it's an interesting subject. Uh,
Yeah.
Dogma is very much an interesting subject, and I do love to discuss it because I don't belong to any particular brand of dogma, but I don't deny dogma either because, well, honestly, who am I to authenticate? I'm not. I cannot transcend the physical realm and go take a peek behind the curtain and go, well, these people over there are right.
Yeah.
you know, so and that's faith. That's faith. You have to take it on faith. Faith is belief in the absence of evidence.
I wouldn't say complete. Faith is the I forget how Paul put. I think it's Paul puts it. Things hoped for, the evidence of things not yet seen.
Yeah, yeah. And we have there's it's funny. it's really hilarious. I don't knock on anybody. I don't knock
Yeah.
on their personal beliefs really. Um, there's only one group of anti-religious people that I don't like. And with atheists, they go, "Well, I don't have any faith. I have science." And it's like, dude, you wouldn't say that if you truly had an understanding of science, because to go off of what the science says, and come to a final conclusion, you absolutely need to have faith
Yeah.
in that science. So don't spin me some BS about how you don't have faith and you're an absolute, what do you call it? Empiricalist. They have to have their evidence. It's
Yeah.
like, dude, don't tell me that. You're going off of like a lot of these
You
scientific theories are
have
really
never
kind
been
of,
proven.
yeah. In fact, actually, what's really funny is that according to physics, a study, uh, it was at Vanderbilt, has has these Vanderbilt and several other major medical universities have these machines that they can read your thought process as it happens in your brain.
Yeah.
Well, just by reading it and analyzing it, they're like, this makes no sense. So one of these postgraduate students had a bright idea to go send that all that data to MIT. And MIT mathematicians immediately go to work, start building, start reverse engineering a computer simulation to find out how these processes work. And they came back with math that said, in order for the brain to operate as we see it, it is physically 8 dimensions. Now, that's string theory level stuff.
Yeah.
We live in a 3-dimensional world. We call a 4th dimension time, but we can just call it the temporal dimension, linear forward, right? Or for short, entropy.
Yeah.
Because that's how that's the ultimate measure of time is entropy. Um, and that's atomic clock. We're measuring the entropy. Um, and so they said that it is an 8th dimensional physical object. So if the brain were a cube, it would be a 16-sided cube. Right? All right, that's just the
Yeah.
math. That's string theory math. It's real wonky, weird stuff. But so that tells me that's evidence. It's not proof, but it is evidence that there is more to this world than what we can perceive with our primitive 3-dimensional brains.
Yeah.
Um, not our 3-dimensional brains, but our 3-dimensional perception.
Yeah.
And it's even wondered that maybe some crazy animals with some of those crazy eyes that can see stuff that we can't might even be able to see a 4th dimension physically.
Yeah.
Trippy stuff.
For sure.
Oh, it's wild, man. No, the universe is amazing, and I have little doubt as to it being specifically engineered and with a very interesting set of rules.
Yeah. As you said, 8 dimensions for the brain. How it works. You know, how is that just come into existence by accident?
Right? No, and it's very well that our universe could be a 3-dimensional projection on the event horizon of a 4th-dimensional black hole.
I guess possible.
And which is horrifying when you think that, geez, so we're on the surface, and so if hell is down, then hell is the inside of a black hole. which is far worse than anything we could ever imagine.
Yeah.
Because time and space get flipped. It's not space time; it's time space. Once you go inside of a black hole, um, it's funky. It's funky. It would be the most disorienting, horrible experience trapped forever, eternity, literally eternity. Um, because we're still not sure whether or not black holes evaporate. I mean, Hawking says they do, but that's not a
It's
law.
all
It's a theory with good math.
maybe even just a hypothesis at this point.
Uh, well, it is a theory because the math is real solid, and that um, we can observe some of the phenomenon explained in the math, but not in its entirety. So it's a theory, but not
Yeah.
law.
Question is, how many
Just yeah.
assumptions would it be based on?
Well, it's that one. Yeah, that's like it's a whole college level subject.
Yeah.
It really is. It's a whole college level subject.
Yeah. And the other reason I say what assumptions would be based on, these black holes are so far out in space. How well can we actually observe them? It's not like they're 2 feet away and you can observe them easily. You
No, they're
observe them
very hard to
through
see.
a telescope at a couple billion miles away or more. So
Oh, trillions of miles away. Uh,
I was trying to be nice.
if there were a black hole just billions of miles away, whew, it'd been nice knowing you, man. That's we're not long for this universe if there's a black hole just a few billion miles away. But yeah, the most definitive proof we have of black holes is their gravitational influence on surrounding bodies, because we do know that the bigger mass wins in the war of gravity, even though all gravity is a mutual attraction between objects.
Yeah, I'm not denying their existence. I'm just denying a lot of the assumptions we make about them and different things.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, and it's good. It's good to because real
Or not
science,
maybe not deny, but question.
and as you should, no, as you should, because until I mean,
We can.
this is one of the reasons why we get educated, so we don't take educated people so seriously.
So it's just because we have like I said, observe it from a telescope, as you said, trillions of miles away. It's hard to observe stuff, know exactly what's going on if there's anything else at play that we don't know about.
Oh yeah, and the information that we get from the center of our galaxy, watching these stars circle an object that we can't see, um, that information's 40, 50,000 years old,
Yeah, very possible.
maybe even older because of gravitational lensing and distorting of space and time.
Or it could be younger with that thing too, the gravitational, whatever words you use there.
Well, here's a fun fact. I forget how fast it is, but I think if you lived on Mercury and you had perfect environment like you did here on Earth, right?
Yeah.
You would actually live longer because you're experiencing the passage of time slower because of your
Uh,
proximity to the sun.
yeah, gravity. It's even proven up in just up in our atmosphere or whatever, where
Yeah,
gravity is
yeah. As
lighter or whatever. I'm not sure what the right word is. Time goes slower.
Yeah, when you're in, yeah, because when you're when you're in orbit around the Earth, though you're further away from the gravitational center, which slows time. You are moving faster, which slows time. And uh, yeah, what is it? Satellites need constant time adjustments.
And that could about also that gravity effect could also possibly slow the speed of light too, because I've heard that in laboratories they have slowed down light and sped it up. So
Yes, the speed of light is consistent through a vacuum. Once you start messing with light, you can slow it down or speed it up, but you can never speed it up past its potential speed in a vacuum. So it kind of makes you wonder, um, when we look through telescopes through dust clouds to see stuff on the other side. Um, well, yeah, it's going to be redshifted because it's being slowed down because even space is not an absolute vacuum. There's stuff for it to impact. So all light is going to be redshifted to a certain degree, and the further out you look, the more redshifted it should be. But
yeah,
that's not necessarily the case. We're seeing more of a redshift with nearby objects than we are with farther objects, which it could just be an optical illusion that our universe is expanding faster now than it was before. Because by all rules of physics, there's nothing in physics that lets a dynamic action do that without outside influence.
Chad is wondering whether we think
Mhm.
there is life in outer space. I personally do.
I would be, there's it's I think what was it Arthur C. Clarke, who said there are two terrifying possibilities, that either we are alone or there is life out there. And both are can be equally terrifying. I believe absolutely. Well, I can't say that I believe, but I have strong inclination to believe that life exists elsewhere in the universe. In fact, if it didn't, I would be insanely shocked.
No.
Like I might need a moment to sit down.
Yeah. Well, I know a lot of Christians don't believe in life on other planets and all that. I personally do because I think we have a very creative God, and that to create such an empty universe seems ridiculous.
Well, the Vatican says that extraterrestrials exist,
Okay.
and they say that definitively. Which add at Vatican plus tinfoil hat equals fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm more talking about most evangelical Christians
Right, right.
would say
Yeah,
there's no
and
life
it's
on
true.
other
And
planets.
you know what? It's until proven otherwise, it's perfectly valid to say that. Because
Yeah.
no evidence. So
There's
hey,
no
your
evidence.
hypothesis,
There's
yeah, their
no evidence.
hypothesis is just as good as everyone else's.
And to me, there's now they would say a lot. I know a lot of evangelicals would just say, "Oh, because it's not mentioned in the Bible." Well, lots of things are mentioned in the Bible either too that exists.
Well,
It's just because
yeah,
they never experienced. But to me, there's one scripture that says maybe. You know, I think it's at
right,
the end of Mark, and it says he will gather the elect from the four corners of the heavens.
yeah, and that is a good That's a good space opera interpretation of that. I don't mean to demean it at all. I just categorizing it.
Yeah, no
Um,
problem.
because we do have space opera religions. They are out there. Mormonism, Scientology, space opera religions. They believe in a galactic. There's a galactic dogma that goes on.
Yeah,
So, and since I'm definitively not an expert, I will not judge.
yeah,
I think that, hey, you know what? Whatever gets you to be a better person to yourself and to others, and to help us with this game of surviving and making a better place here on planet Earth, dude, I don't care what team you play for. You're playing for the right team, though. You're playing the right game. It's the
yeah,
people out there that are destructive and nasty and divisive. Those people, they're not playing the right game. They're playing the control game. They're not playing the freedom game. I want to reach that Star Trek level future where it's like, hey, dude, we have machines and there's enough personal motivation in our culture that gets people up in the morning and wanting to excel. And that basic needs are taken care of. So if you're unable to care for yourself, don't worry. It's all taken care of. If you're too lazy, fine. There's so many humans out there and there's so many machines that we can just do this and we can pursue um, better goals.
yeah.
I actually wrote I have the storyline that I have right now is actually 350 years of an alternate future human history. And one of the short stories I have is a bunch of multi-denominational, um, what do you call them, missionaries that
Uh-huh.
go to an alien world and set up a mission, which turns into a church, and it's a story about interplanetary fellowship. Unfortunately, it didn't market test very well, so I was like, well, I guess I'll just market that one to my Christian base.
Yeah,
And like I told you, it's like I'll be sending out the ash cans to every major diocese that I could look up on the internet. Because otherwise, I'm not going to sell many of them on a broad market because it's a niche product. So I got to go find that target audience.
yeah, for sure.
Um, Chad says, "What does Mormon believe in?" I'm in here in Utah right now. I forget the specifics, but God for the Mormons. Earth is kind of like the testing ground, and heaven is another planet. It's a transcendental planet, so it's beyond physical stuff, but it is physically out there in the universe. And
They basically believe we all can become gods.
yes, yeah, it's
Or,
a very much a transhumanist movement. It's a transhumanist spiritual movement. Um, here's a fun fact about the Mormons. The Mormons have some of the best records kept on planet Earth of everything. They have a vault. So if the apocalypse happened, um, and 1,000 years from now, archaeologists were digging it up, they would learn everything about our society from the Mormon vault.
or from the Mormon perspective, anyways.
Oh no, they don't just have their perspective. They have information on like you think the NSA's PRISM program is extensive. The Mormon Church has its own program because you got to understand they were heavily persecuted in the early days of their religion.
Yeah,
They were driven out west. They staked some territory, and throughout the years, throughout the decades, they would find gold and silver deposits, and their little state would get whittled away at by the U.S. government in order to keep money out of the hands of Mormons. The United States, we're a good country. We're very progressive, historically speaking, but we're also guilty of some of the nastiest stuff. Nasty, nasty stuff. But hey, human. There's when it really comes down to it, everybody is flawed. So there's no perfect person. Our only way to do that is to move forward, or maybe just pay attention to Canada and chill out a minute. Um,
Except
take
for
a
our prime
hint.
minister.
Well, he's a leftist sycophantic war hawk.
I guess that's one way to describe him.
Just hey, I'm a carpenter, man. When I see a nail, I gotta hit it, and I've got good aim. He's just our president, Orange 45, is he's a scumbag. I don't like him. He's been a scumbag for forever. He's a sleazy, crooked real estate businessman. And further proof that anybody could have beaten Hillary Clinton. Because she's a crook too. How she's been able to avoid indictment when she has been heavily connected to stuff is legal wizardry. I will give her this. She's smart, like supervillain smart.
Yeah.
And the Mormons used to have some beliefs that have been removed from the canon. That were racist beliefs, but they've been removed. The Mormon Church is very progressive these days. They're very accepting. Because isn't that the point? Is to be accepting and loving of a person despite their flaws?
Yeah.
So, like somebody finally got the point. And I like that. I like it when people get the point of being good to each other.
He looks. It's not looking too bad. Much. I don't think I got the black in right. First time ever coloring this guy.
Oh, I like it.
Taking some hints from what I've already done. My other one.
Chad says, I don't believe they've been removed, just secretly unknown. Oh, the racist parts of the old Mormon beliefs. Is that what you're talking about, Chad? Yeah, I don't know if I would have to put on a tinfoil hat to say that they still exist. There might be some old holdouts, some old white dudes that are still kind of holding on to that stuff, but people like EVS are further evidence that the racism is out of the church. Okay. Yeah.
I think most of them aren't racist. Some of their older beliefs, I think they still hold on to. Some of them are paramount and secret. But
Yeah,
the racism, I'd say they probably gotten rid of.
yeah, and I do know a lot of evangelicals. No, not a lot. I do know a few evangelicals who will misquote some Bible passages or do some mental acrobatics to justify racism.
Yeah,
Um, and it's not that they're. See, there's a difference between a person who is bad and a person who's operating off of bad information. Like
yeah,
most of these SJW types, they're not bad folks. I've known a lot of them for years, but this is why I say like the current mentality is akin to a mental illness and it's contagious. Because they just gone crazy, man. Like sweet, pacifistic people who, like, they would have had, 5 years ago, they would have had a conversation with an actual Nazi, like dressed up in full regalia, and debated them until they were blue in the face, until they exposed that person for being a scumbag. Now they just yell and scream and throw themselves to the floor and kick and throw a tantrum, and they make they lie. Like they think to them they're at war, and that all's fair in love and war, and when in fact
Yeah.
actually no, we have treaties to prevent things from happening in war, and we have laws to prevent the slanderous, liable things that people say, which is why I absolutely encourage people, don't cuss at people on the internet. Don't cuss at them.
Yeah, especially people you don't know.
Well, don't cuss
You
at
should
people on the
be,
internet.
yeah,
You're
you should be
you're
doing it anyways, but
you have more legal protection to cuss at them in person. But cussing at them in the internet it's written down and it can be interpreted. And I lived with a Juris Doctorate for several years, and I learned over those years as he would explain like contract stuff, because he does contract law, that your words can be twisted any way people want.
oh
So
yeah,
if you have foul words in there, they will be absolutely twisted uh, to your disadvantage.
yeah,
If you keep it clean, then and keep the name calling out of it. I don't even like it when people call other people NPCs. And NPC is an old term for somebody who just sticks to their party line and just regurgitates rhetoric.
yeah.
It's not a new term, and it's not limited to people on the left. In fact, the first time I heard the term NPC was referring to somebody on the right. A Yeah, James Gunn is proof of that. James Gunn, that dude ain't right, man. Like, he told jokes in public I would never tell in public. Like, and they were just like, he told jokes I would never tell, because I'm like, all right, that's just gross. It's not really funny. I do like a good bad joke, a terrible, tasteless joke from time to time. But his, like, I think he's secretly a chomo. I think if that guy's computer was seized by the FBI, they would find child pornography on it. I'm not going to say that that's an absolute truth or insinuate that that's a truth. That is
Yeah.
my personal, just from the way he communicates. People I have known in the past that openly and shamelessly would make pedophiliac jokes had leanings towards that.
Yeah. Hey,
And
John. you guys,
yay!
you
Clang,
guys are.
clang, 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 clang.
Hey, we can't help it if you can't sleep when you've worked too long. So
Hey,
How long are you up for, John?
I was gonna say, hey, cut John some slack. It's hard staying on that street corner all night. I'm really kind of, and I might be just a little like playa hating, a little jealous, because it was my street corner.
So there is uh original version of Demon Blaster colored for the first time.
Ooh, should lock that on you.
My rectum looks like Robbie's. It needs regeneration.
Yeah, I actually have a phone. I have saved I have not a phone, a picture saved to my phone that is someone bent over holding a raspberry Danish to their posterior. Um, yeah, to needs Virginia. Quick, sit him in the Lazarus pit.
I'd ask you if you want to come on, John, but you're probably going to be sleeping soon.
Oh, I will definitely send you that pic, John, because it's a keeper. I was looking for a reference that picture, because I wanted to send a nasty picture to somebody I didn't like, but luckily I found the funny one first, so I sent that one and saved myself from getting in any internet troubles. Because John said, "That's the worst thing I've ever heard. Send me that pic."
Yeah, I saw that. That's cool.
Oh, we're terrible, terrible.
Yes, we are.
That's why I'm glad I've got that timeshare condo. It's gorgeous, right on the Lake of Fire. Got AC installed a few summers back. Actually, I used to make so many jokes that I was going to hell. Uh, I had this one. I had this one evangelical. He was my roommate in Iraq, and he was definitely a double digit person. Like he had a double digit IQ. He was not smart at all. Um, and he used to try to argue the Bible with me, and I would actually like go pick up my soldier's Bible and show it to him and be like, dude, that's not in here. Then I'd pick up another version of the Bible and be like, it's not in here. Pick up another version of the Bible. I had like 4 or 5 different versions of the Bible. I'm like, dude, what you're saying is not in any of these books.
Yeah.
And so I got tired of it. And I made a joke and he goes, "You're going to hell." And I said, "That's cool. I got a timeshare condo down there right on the Lake of Fire." He goes, "You're gonna burn in hell." I said, "No, I'm not. I got AC installed last summer." He goes, "You can't do that." I said, "Well, you can if you're in with the management." And that dude did not talk to me for 2 months. He was scared of me. He thought I was serious. I'm like, dude, I'm making a joke. It's a joke, son.
Do you not know what a joke is?
I know. Like, I thought it was a funny joke too. It's like, well, you can if you're in with the management.
Yeah, mine's around there too, John. It's been a while since I took an IQ test online.
Yeah,
Mine's pretty. Trusty said
I, I,
there's a
I,
little.
I took one after. I took one as a part of the series of exams to see if I had brain damage.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I hate tests. If I don't have the answer to a question in 3 seconds, I just pick whichever one looks best. I don't put in it. No, I hate tests. But I did score Bacardi
Okay, I'm not sure what that means.
151.
Oh,
But I don't also believe in standardized testing because I was like, you guys are so full of it. If I was really that smart, I wouldn't have done half the stuff I've done in my life.
yeah, but smart people can be dumb at times too, you know.
Well, it just goes to show that even like the smartest of us are idiots. Like, humans are idiots.
Yeah, okay, let's see. Trusty Sidekick says there's a little town on Grand Cayman named Hell where a lot of black coral is visible above the water level. They have a post office so you can send home cards. Uh,
Postmark
Postmark
hell.
hell.
I'm gonna have to go there because that way I can say that
Been to hell?
I've been to hell and back. I have to get something while I'm there and bring it to somebody and be like, dude, you have
This is
no
from
idea. I got this little tchotchke for you, this little keychain or, souvenir spoon. I have been to hell and back to get this for you. John says,
then I
John
took
says,
one.
don't believe. Yeah.
Then I took
Then,
one. It said I was road tart, but I didn't finish it.
I've done that too.
Hello, Kevin. Don't believe in standardized tests. Sounds like dummy talk.
That's right. I sure do love that Common Core math because it's logical and mathematical, said no mathematician ever.
Yeah. I
Oh, dude, I used to make hand over fist $20 an hour tutoring elementary school kids on Common Core math. And I've been down to see teachers and principals and gone, look, I am the kid's math tutor. This is garbage.
Yeah. From what I've seen of it, I don't like it. Common Core math.
No, it's worse than new math. New math was garbage too. My kids, their algebra book is dated from 1901 because the subject of algebra is still the same. And it incorporates what is considered to be algebra 1 and 2. It's just algebra,
Okay.
the subject, and it's full. And my kids have murdered every math test they've come across because they learn real math.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy that I live in Oregon. Oregon is not a Common Core state.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, they're not down with the Common Core. Oregon's kind of one of those states I call it purple because it's not a blue state, it's not a red state.
Yeah.
It definitely has its pockets of concentration, but it's purple. It's a conservative yet progressive, or progressive yet conservative. They do their own thing up here.
Depends on how you want to look at it. Yeah.
I've suggested that they rename the state to insanity.
Trusty sidekick says, "Hey, Chad." I'm gonna have to figure out what some of these costume parts are on this guy over the next couple days.
That's right, trusty sidekick. You should go to John Diller Gaming the System and subscribe.
Yes, John's got a good channel. I'd say Tank does, but he hasn't produced any content yet to know whether he does.
That's right.
But seeing as how he's such a good guy, I'm pretty sure his content will be
Shh,
good.
not so loud about that, man. I got a reputation to upkeep.
Okay, since he's such a horrible guy, I'm sure the content will be terribly bad.
Yes, it'd be fraught with controversy. Actually, occasionally I might just poke a bear. With some friendly controversy. I do like to occasionally throw a wrench into the paradigm.
You think? What paradigm? There's no paradigm. It's all in your head.
It's there's a hole in your mind.
Chad says to send Manny pictures. Ken.
The Danish picture. Yes, but and I shall send the accompanying He-Man, the excerpt from a He-Man comic that's taken out of context, and when combined with that picture, it's just so wrong. See, you don't have to say any bad words to tell a nasty joke. Speaking of good deeds today, because I don't know if people here subscribe to that umbrella guy. I do. I love Tug. I think he's a pretty cool dude.
Yeah.
He the slows, the sycophantic leftist oligarchic whips, the slow SJWs, not the fast ones. Those are fighting against systems of tyranny. I love acronyms. They're attacking his YouTube channel now. They're flagging it for being offensive and other things. So, and he's already losing like 60 to 80% of monetization. Even though, honestly, there's no violations of YouTube's guidelines
Of course not.
in his channel. So I went and I decided to put my money where my mouth is and became a supporter of his on Patreon. You can see him at Patreon/that umbrella guy and contribute and keep him because he's doing some decent journalism and he's doing some commentary as well and some op-ed. It's good content. Keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling. So for
rolling, ride.
Oh, even for as little as $1 a month, you can help him out. For as little as $1 a month, you can help him out. And I became one of his big backers. I decided to take a little bit from my Patreon earnings and turn that around to help someone else out because they're doing a good work. They're doing a good job. I mean, I got friends on the left that are basically like left Tug. They don't realize it because they're caught up with that mental illness right now. Some don't have it as bad as others, but it is still, there are symptoms. And, they do good work. It's good to shine a light on truth and show source. Oh, yeah. The trustee Chad Middleton says, correction, I'll have to go back. Chad Middleton says, send that picture to Manny Tank. John Dillard Gaming the System says, well, thank you very much. You are loved and valued subscriber, and I prostrate myself before you and beg your forgiveness. Trusty Sidekick says, thou art forgiven. Go in peace to love and serve the Lord. Chad Middleton says, Umbrella Guy is famous now. Trusty Sidekick says, love it when Tug does the numbers. He also says, the best is when Little Umbrella tell us stories about Van Skyver versus SJWs. That is true. Little Tug is just the one of the most adorable things on planet Earth. It's nice. Hey, Brandon, how are you? Brandon says, I'm here, guys. Hello.
Late to the party, but here. Now I got to figure out what most of this stuff is.
So yeah, I became a $10 subscriber or patron for Tug because I think there are some cool things that I think that he can bring up and spread some more love and and knowledge to the Comicsgate community. I'm gonna suggest that I'm gonna send him some articles that he could pick from, because at $10 you get to have a little bit of say in what goes on his show. So hopefully I can bring some solid coolness to everybody vicariously through Tug. I don't want to dox Tug. I'm not going to, but I'm just going to say this. I know where his accent comes from, and it's very region specific. Here we go. We got Brandon. He says, send me a link. I'll help read the comments for you guys again.
Yeah, I guess. Come on for a few minutes. Twitter.
I love your amalgam, man.
No. Yeah, I gotta figure out what some of the gotta miss the line, which I gotta draw. There you go, Brandon.
It's a shame about the couple with their little 2000 AD-esque project. I forget the name of it now. The ones that said that EVS was a scumbag.
Oh yeah.
Mighty Geek Studios. Hello, Mighty Geek Studios. Mighty Geek Studios says, time to call in the Joes.
Yo, Joe!
A real American hero. G.I. Joe was there.
That got cringy as soon as I came on.
You're the cringe factor. What can we say?
I'm the cringiest
Mortal
man.
Worlds. Thank you, trusty sidekick. That is the name of that comic. Mortal Worlds.
Yeah, and sorry.
I was going to say, before they did that, I was thinking of getting into it, even though I have to agree with Antonio of Akari Press.
You mean
that
Kanan?
The other dude.
Yeah. The actual artist.
I'll help read, but I got to log in my computer first, so give me a second.
Yeah,
no worries. But he said he actually gave them a very kind, very nice review of their Indiegogo. They showed too much art. Like, it seemed like the whole comic was there, and they showed too much.
Also,
some people don't show enough.
Yeah.
And it looks like an indie comic. It definitely looks like an indie comic. I'm not knocking the art or anything of the sort. And it seemed like something that I would be interested in. It looked like, hey, this is cool. I'd like to have these people do more comics and get better. And so this is something I would want to support. And then they went and ran their mouths. And it's like, I don't think you understand how this works. If you want a gimme, you got to go to the other side and go play their political game. That's the only place you're going to get a gimme in the industry. You're not going to get a gimme anywhere else.
Okay, I'll be back in a minute or so. Okay. Entertain people.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm the only one here, so entertain nobody. That's cool.
Chad Middleton, I need to see that stream with the couple. Also says, meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom. Hell, what time point did they call him a scumbag? They accused him of gatekeeping. I don't know if they directly called him a scumbag. They accused him, EVS, of gatekeeping because he didn't bring them on his show. And they did reach out to a couple other people, but I didn't see them trying to work their way up the ladder. And that's one of the points that EVS and Akari Press have made, is that they didn't reach out, they didn't establish themselves within a community and get known via that way. There are some people who have made it to EVS's show super fast,
Right.
but that's because they did personal correspondence, they interact on social media, they interacted in the chat, they dropped a few super chats, they established a line of communication. And
Right.
that's why Critias and Nasser, they made it to EVS's show. And Comicsgate Live, that is the Tonight Show of Comicsgate. That's big time.
Right.
Mighty Geek Studios says they put all of the art in their comic on their Indiegogo page, and the potential investors could read it without buying. That's true, Mighty Geek Studios. They did. And I felt like after I looked at it, I was like, wow, I know the whole story without looking at the words. And that's a good indicator of the artwork, that the artwork can convey the story without words. But too much of a peek behind the curtain, man. Trusty Sidekick
Right.
says they weren't too happy that John Malin critiqued the art while waiting for them to come on his show. And boo-hoo, that's what John Malin does, and he does it on a very professional level. If John Malin deconstructs your work, he's doing it so that you can learn a lesson and come out better for it on the other side.
I'm not sure whether he could deconstructed their thing so much, their artwork, but he deconstructed their Indiegogo. You know, I forget what
Yeah.
he said was wrong. Maybe he did both. But it's like, and they're talking about the free market, freedom, to do whatever, because of hearing, freedom of speech or whatever over in the States. Yeah, well, that means EVS has the freedom not to have you on.
Well, yeah, and that's the prerogative of anybody who has a platform, is that if it's not a public platform, YouTube is not a public platform, it's a private company. EVS does not have to share his stage. And the fact here's the big thing is that if something comes under EVS's radar, he plugs it.
Yeah, especially if he likes it.
Yeah, he goes, "Oh, this looks kind of neat. Yeah, yeah. If you guys like this, you should go check it out."
Okay, I'm catching up with one comment, you guys. Mighty Geek Studio says, "Why buy when you can get it for free?"
Yeah.
Brandon's already revealed his face, Chad.
Face reveal time! Woohoo!
Woo!
Ah!
Yes, guys, you get to see my face. You're welcome. And pardon the noise in the background. It's my mom, my sister. We just got back from doing groceries. We got a whole bucket load, so.
Oh, good.
Well, I finished coloring this guy for now. I have to figure out what the other pieces of his costume are from. I did this guy like 10, 15 years ago or more, and it's like, obviously I included some of my guys in here. My Insecto guy, right there with the half part of the Insecto mask.
What is his name anyway? I never saw this guy.
I'm either calling him a comic book guy or comic hero.
Oh, okay.
He's just an amalgam of a bunch of different comic heroes. Like you can see Cyclops here, you can see Batman, probably the Flash. You got the Superman symbol.
Cyclops.
Yeah,
I think Cyclops.
Yeah, with the thing going across the chest.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who the green cape is from. Maybe the Spectre.
Actually, no. The original Green Lantern. The original Green Lantern had a cape at one point in time during the 40s.
Yeah, but that was red, if I remember correctly.
Oh, okay. And yes, Chad, I am doing a face reveal. Woohoo!
And like I said, I got at least one of my characters in here. We also have Captain America with the red and white stripes.
Oh yeah, I can see that. You got partial Superman also.
Yeah.
And one part of the face reminds me a little bit of the Tick.
Yeah, oh, probably with the insect type thing. Well, that's
Yeah,
more my character. That's more my character, Insecto.
cool.
Up tweet up tweet out.
Yes, I love the tick.
Yeah, you made a few good
Yeah.
pictures, Rick. Holy cow.
Woohoo! I just got a response from a big time artist that I've been wanting to commission.
Cool.
Yeah,
Makes me
same here.
very happy.
Same thing here, Tank, because there's artists I liked for some time. There's no Abigail drawn the art style, though. His name was Stephen E. Gordon. For anyone who doesn't know who Stephen E. Gordon is, ladies and gentlemen, he's the guy who created the X-Men Evolution art style for the series, and that art style was really, really good.
Nice.
So I am commissioning that guy to help me out with art for my show called Angels. Um, I do want to find an artist to help me with a few other things, though, because I do want to make my own. I want to make the original version of Winnie the Pooh for kids because I'm friendly. I'm family friendly big time, and Disney in a way just messed it up a lot compared to A. Mills stuff. So I want to try and bring back A. Mills version of it.
Cool. And
Well,
here is. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Tank.
I was going to say, so now I'm going to, and it's good. He does want to do the project. So that will be a stretch goal for my Indiegogo. Because if I can't get it on the for the what do you call it, the ash can poster T-shirt drive to get me money for art supplies, then it'll be a part of the actual comic. But it looks like I'm going to get I'm going to commission John Zalesnik for an awesome pinup. John Zalesnik is probably most famous for his work on the Palladium Games Rifts series and his work in Magic the Gathering.
Cool.
Okay, let me catch up with one comment here. Chad
Sure.
says, "I love Christopher Robin. Great movie. I haven't seen that one yet, but I like in a way how they managed to put in details from A. Mills' original storyline. I haven't seen it yet, but it looks like really well done. They said like a few years back they were going to do a live action Pooh Bear film, but they never got to it until now, and it's fantastic. I thought it was going to look stupid, but it came out fantastic in the trailer.
I'm hearing good reviews about it. It's on my list.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife wants to see that too because I haven't seen that yet. I said, let's see that. I want to see that.
And here is Insecto. As you can see, there is sort of his face that you see in the Amalgam guy, Comic Hero.
That's
Okay,
pretty
I like
good.
it. I like it.
That looks like the character I used to watch Ben 10 for this reboot. They call him Stinkfly.
Well, I created this character a long, long time ago.
Look
Back in
pretty
the
good.
90s. He's gone through a few renditions, evolution or micro evolution stuff, whatever,
Right.
however you want to say it. Now, this body I traced from a real life body. I brought it into Photoshop or Illustrator copy, traced around the body, and then obviously altered it for the eyes and putting in the wings.
That's good, man. I like it.
And as you can see here, I have lots and lots of heroes and villains and supporting cast and years to come with this stuff.
Chad says they ruined the Ben
Awesome.
10 series with that Flash animation reboot. Yeah, I don't really pay attention to that because it's basically garbage anyway. I stuck with more Christian based stuff and try to stick with more family friendly. In my opinion, that's not really family friendly. Ben 10 stuff to me just looks stupid and retarded now.
It's gone from an intelligent show. The original concept was really nice. I love the fact that he would use all the different aliens to solve problems. The new show has been grossly dumbed down.
Yep.
And I don't like to put it on TV because when I do afterwards, my boys are like all super riled up. And they're just out of control. And so I'm
Oh
like,
boy.
yeah, that's not one that I like. Doesn't They don't have good behavior when they're done doing it. And it's not like they're running around playing Ben 10. They're just being crazy.
Yeah, that's the reason why I don't want to watch them. Plus, now with my wife, I have a 6-year-old with her. Now it's not my kid. No, that's from a previous marriage. But yeah, I gotta make sure he doesn't watch that. Otherwise, he will get riled up because he gets riled up as it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, boys usually do easy. You get riled up.
Yep.
Well, yeah, and you gotta watch their diet because there's a lot of the processed foods that we eat today.
Right.
They don't have good chemicals in them, and with small children, it
Mhm.
can make them like go crazy.
Yeah, I can.
Um, and yeah, so it's it's a thing. We mostly cook from scratch whenever possible in our
That's the best way to
house.
go. That's the best way to go.
Yeah, like and my favorite thing because when we're moving to the new house that has more kitchen space, I love to make homemade pizza. Like make the pizza dough, make the sauce, get all the kids involved, get them to learn some cooking and some chemistry because we do discuss chemistry while I'm cooking.
You sound a lot like my mom because my mom likes to do a lot of stuff homemade, like homemade pizza and stuff like that.
It's a skill I learned as a bachelor because I got tired of pre-made food, so I started actually like really watching cooking shows and picking up cookbooks and trial and error. And I can cook edible food most of the time.
Just most of the time.
Well, with
Oh,
me, I'll go
I
ahead. I'm
have to be
sorry.
careful though. I have to be careful though because with like the little boys, they uh, they sometimes they like certain recipes because if I want to make myself something, like if I want to make myself lunch, it doesn't matter if the kids just ate because they're kids, they're bottomless pits. Um, so it doesn't matter if they just ate. I'm making food for everybody. There's no such
Okay.
thing as make myself a quick snack.
Sorry to interrupt you guys. I'm going to catch up these two out three things. I think this one might be for you, Tank. Chad says, do they take those Flintstone vitamins for kids?
No, because they contain red 40 and red 40 we've done some experiments of having red 40 in their diet and without, and when they have the red 40 in their diet, they display hyperactive attention disorder
Okay.
type stuff. So yeah, no Flintstone vitamins. We get the Paw Patrol with the no colors added.
And Mighty Geek Studio says that's what made 80s cartoons great. That's true, actually. I watched some 80s cartoons. They came out better than the other stuff today.
Yeah, he's saying because they
Yeah,
were hand drawn. That was
Right?
the
you
previous
know
time.
the it and the thing is that cartoons, if we break it down for inflation, the cartoons are lower quality and they cost more to produce. The last time we saw this was in the late 60s through the 70s in American cartoons.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
With the Chuck Jones, and was sad because Chuck Jones was such an awesome designer and director. They just had no budget to give his good cartoons good animation.
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Trusty Sidekick says, have. Pardon me for pardon the background noise. Trusty Sidekick says, have any of you guys watched Mary and the Witch Flower on Netflix? I'm guessing there were some Studio G, Billy, whatever folks who worked on that film really good.
I have
Oh,
not seen it
I love
myself.
Studio Ghibli. I did not know that. I will have to watch that
I don't
because
presently have Netflix.
I'm a huge fan of all things Studio Ghibli, even the stuff for little kids. I really enjoy it. It's beautiful stories, wonderful animation. So I'm gonna have to check that out.
Give me 1 second, you guys. I gotta get a better charger because this one is just draining the power of my phone. 1 second.
No worries.
So what else is going? What do you got going on today, Tank?
Oh, I'm gonna rest my back for a little bit and then get some more work done.
Uh,
Um, I was supposed to go to the post office this morning, but
Send off a bunch of
apparently,
stuff.
yeah. Well, I normally have like the early shift with the kids. Um,
Yeah.
it it varies. Sometimes I have the bedtime shift. Sometimes I have the breakfast shift. But because we have two babies in the house, my wife is on, and she's the nursemaid. My wife is on on call. So I
Uh,
think she was on call last night with fussy babies. So she's not up yet. So I'm holding down the fort.
oh, that's good.
But I got the boys on autopilot. They're doing their morning studies.
That's good. Get them on autopilot.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
you get them into a routine, and we start with studies. My 8-year-old, he's developmentally delayed,
uh,
so he's a couple of grades behind. And then my 7-year-old, he's autistic, so he's at about the same level. And then my 5-year-old is finishing up first grade.
uh, cool.
So yeah, he should be done with first grade before he is. Yeah, he should be done with first grade here in the next few months, and then we can
Oh,
start
that's
moving
good.
on up. Yeah. Well, it's a study at your own pace. We're more concerned with the kids fully
Knowing,
understanding.
yeah,
Yeah, fully understanding what they're studying, so that way they actually retain it for the rest of their life.
yep, makes sense to me. Studio Gib Giblin or Gibby or however you want to pronounce it.
Ghibli.
Chat says it's the Japanese Disney. Then
Yes.
he
Oh,
re then he
My Neighbor
says
Totoro, Nausicaa Valley of the Winds, Howl's Moving Castle, just to name a couple. There's a wonderful animated documentary on the guy who invented the Zero, the Japanese Zero airplane, as well. That's
uh,
animated by Studio Ghibli.
cool.
This is stuff I really never heard about before.
Yeah, well, unless you're probably into a lot of the Japanese anime or whatever, you probably have. I've never heard of them either, but so you probably haven't, just like me, because you're not into the Japanese animation. You haven't heard of it.
Right.
Would be my best guess. And there's nothing
Yeah,
wrong with that.
Studio Ghibli puts out a lot of family-friendly material. They're very much like Disney. They're very family-oriented, all ages.
That's a very good thing.
Yeah, yeah. There needs. It's honestly, the children's market is like it's the most profitable market out there. So if you can
Oh,
hit that children's market and you got a success, you got something that kids can identify
Right.
easily, you got it made.
yeah,
Yeah, you'll probably have be on the high road of financial success for only 3 to 5 years, but you're set for life after that. You can do whatever project you want to,
Yep.
as long as you're good with your money.
Okay, Chad says Spirited Away and Princess Manuka.
Ah,
I guess that,
Mononoke, yes.
I guess that's a couple of the projects.
Yes, Spirited Away is absolutely fantastic. So is Princess Mononoke. Princess Mononoke is it's wonderful, It doesn't come off as it, but it is totally like an environmentalist message movie.
Okay.
But it's so
Wow.
Do you know
subtle
whether
about it. You're like, oh, this is a good fantasy. And then at the end, you're like, wait a minute. That was all about protecting the environment. I have been tricked into learning something nice.
Oh man.
It's great.
um do you know whether they've been dubbed into English or not, or were they made in English or
Yes.
whatever?
Studio Ghibli has its stuff dubbed into English almost immediately. I think the last few releases they had were simultaneously released in Japan and the US.
Yeah. The
Um,
Oh
only
wow.
reason I the only reason I ask is because I don't really like subbed stuff
I can understand.
because I hate trying to read while watching a
Yeah,
movie.
the subtitles are really a pain, to be honest. They're only good for if, well, you're trying to be quiet and stuff like that, or it's too noisy. But for trying to read what they're saying in subtitles, just because they don't speak English, that's very hard to do.
Well, it's also
Yeah.
it's just because half the time they get the words off the screen before you finish reading the sentence. I'm
Well,
not a
if you
fast
have the
reader.
option, what's better than the subtitles for anime is the closed captions for English. Because that actually stays on the screen long enough for you to read and will include, sound effects and other things like that. But the closed captions are off. They may not be as accurate as the subtitles because they're closed captions for the English dub, but come on.
Okay,
What's the difference?
Chad says they have been dubbed in English, very good dubbed. Trusty Sidekick says all of them have been dubbed. Disney released a lot of them. AMC theaters are having a Studio Ghibli Fest this year, showing one of their films every month.
Huh?
Ooh, that's cool. I wish I lived near an AMC theater.
That's funny because we actually have an AMC theater right where I am.
Cool. Well, I know they say family friendly, but you also might want to check them out somehow beforehand, find trailers or whatever.
Yeah.
Like Princess Mononoke, there's a little bit of violence, there's a little bit of blood, and I would say Princess Mononoke is probably Princess Mononoke and Spirited Away are probably the most adult of their movies, and they have words that would be PG, maybe PG-13. I think Princess Mononoke is PG-13.
Yeah.
Because I think there's
Not
only
even.
one F. Because in the English dub, I think there's one F bomb, but in the Japanese dub, in the Japanese language version, there's no F word. There are some words that are less polite in their culture, but no words that we consider like in the English language that we consider extra profane, not in the same regard. Like to them, it's more like taboo subjects, like the number four.
Woo.
Hey, Bob. How are you?
Hey, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
What's new
Bob
since
the Pope, yo.
What's new since John's stream earlier?
Okay, Chad says TMC Turner Classic Movies channel used to show a Ghibli movie every night for 1 month.
And that right there, Turner Classic Movies is a great place if you're looking for like the family friendly version of stuff. The Turner channels are great for that. We used to do that with the horror movies when my daughters were really little.
Mhm.
They kept sneaking in while Mama and I are trying to watch horror movies, and so eventually we just gave up and put it on the edited for television versions, and which have all the extra gore and the foul language edited out. And we're like, fine, this is what we're going to stuck to because they're just going to keep sneaking back in here.
Okay, Bob the Pope, yo, I'm good. The number 4, it's Death in Japan. Trusty
That's right.
Sidekick, Kiki's Delivery Service, and My Neighbor Totoro, I seen that one actually, are good ones to share with the kids. Bob
Yes.
says I'm doing the skull from the other.
Dimension,
It,
I think that is.
yeah, I've seen My Neighbor Totoro before. The library I used to have, um, they used to have not just DVDs but VHSs back when we used to have VCRs.
Right.
Now, we don't. But I remember getting that on VHS, and I remember that whole movie. I'm not into anime anymore because I really don't like it. It looks kind of odd in my book, but that was a pretty good movie, no doubt about that.
And just for those that don't know, what Bob is referring to by the number 4 on Don Dillard's channel earlier today, um, he had a contest for hitting his 100 subs. He
Uh
was
huh.
giving away 3 prizes, and he had people comment in his chat thing from another day, and then he went today, got online, and did a number generator for the number of people that commented, and the number 4 was my number, and I won. So that's why
Cool beans. Oh yes,
Dad
my
is saying is death.
and
Death for
also
death for Bob, but not for me.
okay. Okay, Trusty says I made my wife some Totoro earrings out of sculpty or whatever a couple of years ago.
Sculpey is this cool little plasticine clay that you can get at your local art store, and you can fire it in your oven. You can
Cool
cure it in your
bean.
oven. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I get that for the. It's real expensive. It's real expensive, but it's absolutely fun, and it does come in assorted colors. But it's once you bake it, you can go back with like your dental tools or a Dremel or something like that, and you can work on it like it was plaster. It's very very good product. Totally worth the outrageous price tag.
Nifty.
Kulo Mula.
Let's see here. Hey Rick, you're going live tonight also, right?
Yeah. Monday through Saturday, I am live in the evenings. Usually about 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, I'm just wondering because I want to keep doing comments, reading them to you guys. I keep checking the charge on my phone, and this thing, it shows a lightning bolt, but it keeps looks like it's draining then charging, and I hate that. I still got 25%, so I can still be on for a little bit longer.
Yeah, well,
Ooh, yeah.
probably at about 2:30. I was thinking of ending the stream. I've been on since noon, so
More comments
it,
show up.
some elevators
All
in
right.
Japan don't have the number 4. Well, here in Canada and
Well,
the States, it's number 13. Are you taking off, Tank?
I do. I have to go do work before I am overwhelmed with the lunch run of feeding the children. So I am going to talk to Mr. Zalesnik and see how much it's going to cost and how much he wants for royalties and all that other fun grown-up business stuff, and get a really. If you all should take a look at this guy's artwork. It's gorgeous. He is a
Well,
he's a renowned illustrator. So
send me a
it's
link in Twitter.
absolutely. I don't know if he has a Twitter,
Well, no, I'm
but I
not
have
saying
you on
send.
Facebook. Oh,
I'm just saying send me a link to wherever his stuff is in Twitter from you.
oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'll have to. I'm so familiar with his work. I'm actually not familiar with his website, so I would have to look that up.
Okay.
But I'll have that
Okay,
for y'all.
okay. Chad says, "Thank you for reading the comments, Brandon. You're welcome." That's basically what I do until I start getting some more art supplies that I could draw along with the rest of the group. And Trusty says, "Are you guys doing drawn and quartered fan
Edition
edition this
this.
week?"
Yes, it's gonna be. I'm not sure whose channel it's on yet, but it's gonna be on Thursday night because the Pro Edition's been moved to Wednesday night. I think to um yeah, because Ethan to allow Ethan to get on. So I don't know exactly when it's whose channel it's gonna be on yet. I'll find out in the next day or so. I gotta actually check on that. Um,
I don't mean to sound like I'm disparaging the other pros on the Pro Edition, but Ethan going on the Pro Edition is like one of the pros going to the Fan Edition, dude. Ethan is that good. So we'll see how this goes, man. It just might be cementing him as God Emperor of John.
yeah. Yeah, because that piece he did in like 40 minutes was just amazing.
Oh, I know, and he was just going off of a photo reference. That wasn't even something original. He was duplicating and interpreting, and that was just I'm like, holy moly, man. That's just insane.
Somebody down at the door. Yeah. Okay, I think I should end this. I think I got company at my door downstairs. So,
Yeah, I gotta get
just
going too.
Well, Rick,
John Gillick
Brandon,
says I can take
everybody,
Ethan, no problem.
have a good one. Well, of course, he's the fan champ. He's gonna
Yeah.
take him.
Yeah,
And I haven't seen your stuff on Facebook yet, Bob. Okay, so people remember to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Um, check out my comment, check out my other content. Remember to go over and subscribe to Tank. Ferret, his link is not in the description, but it's pretty easy to find. Tank and Ferret. Put a channel filter on. I'm sure you'll find them easy enough. And go check out Brandon as well and subscribe to him.
and
That's
today, for any of you guys who are subscribed to me, I will be bringing out the voices video. If you guys want to check that out as well, I gotta get to work at it right away. But if you want to, feel free to check it out as soon as it's up.
okay. So we'll see everybody later. Have a great day. God bless.
Same to you, Rick.